Welcome to the Books, Beards, Booze podcast, where we talk books, drink booze, and have beards.
Badger, 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 mushroom,
Mushroom, badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom.
snake, it's a snake, it's a mushroom, mushroom, mushroom. What? Shit, badger.
All right, on that note, I am Bob of Tales by Bob.
I am the ass of the podcast and scared. Derek.
I'm the badger, 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 creative consultant Tanya.
No. So, longtime listeners to the podcast will remember when, much to Derek's chagrin, I took over the episode and we weren't Books, Beards, Booze. We were Books, Beards, Burrows.
You say that. No, it's not burrows, it's burros.
Burrows.
Because I think that's the right word. Anyways, but not necessarily because that's where I got my nickname.
Yeah,
That is true. That is
But I can't
true.
remember why it was fitting. Like, I remember the joke now is that
Yeah.
I'm mean about things.
But
books.
Yeah,
But there was
forgot
another.
about
It was
that.
something to do with being smart and not being willing to be pushed off cliffs or something. I forget what it was, but it made sense at the time.
Yeah. Well, in that one, I went and ran down a list of the best examples of burrows in literature. And I like doing shit like that. So we're doing it again, only this time we're doing it with my favorite fucking animal, the badger.
Now, are we sure it's your favorite animal? Like, I know
Yes.
it's up there, but are we?
No, it is. You know what?
Platypi?
No, I love badgers more.
Badger?
Platypi are cool. Platypi are cool. Badgers are better. And you know what growing up my favorite animal was?
Cows.
Cows.
Yep.
Yep, growing up, I loved cows.
Who doesn't love a good cow though?
Yeah.
Right? You put
So-
some cheese on it, and you just, wait, no?
So
They're
does-
gorgeous. They have pretty eyelashes.
Before I dive into the
look at a cow that's not being cooked. They have
This-
gorgeous
wh-
eyelashes.
why would I do that?
I don't want to feel bad for eating.
Moo.
All right, so well, I guess
It's going to be this kind of episode. I'm just going to go with it.
we could
Whiskey.
we could do books, beards, bulls in the future and talk about cows, but no, we're not. We're doing badgers. All right, so here's a little bit about badgers. Derek, what do you know about badgers?
They're the most vicious killer in the animal kingdom.
Pretty close. Here's the most relevant fact: badgers have been known to become intoxicated with alcohol after eating rotten fruit.
Nice.
Yeah. In North America, coyotes sometimes eat badgers, and vice versa.
Bet.
Yeah. But the majority of their interactions
It's the
seem to be
snack that
mutual or
smiles
neutral.
back.
And so, wow. But they have been seen hunting together in a cooperative fashion on occasion. Yeah.
Band of badgers.
So
That's terrifying.
The behavior of badgers differs by family, but all shelter underground, living in burrows called setts, which may be very extensive. Yes, Derek?
Why have you not written a fantasy series about anthropomorphized badgers and political wranglings?
It's the greatest failing of my life that I haven't.
That I just realized this.
Yeah.
How is this not a...
Yeah.
Their families are different, Bob. They act different. They have different
Well-
characteristics, and you... I'm just
No,
saying.
this is true.
And
Because
they're
you know the honey badger.
Don't give a
You
fuck.
don't give a fuck.
I don't.
So some badgers are solitary,
God, this is a
moving from
random
home,
episode.
moving from home to home, while others are known to form clans called setts. A set size is variable from 2 to 15.
So it's not really a set size.
Hey-o!
Nice, nice. Badgers can gallop at 16 to 19
Wait,
miles
what?
per hour.
Wait,
Gallop?
what?
Well, it
I
says
guess
run
I
or
guess They do
gallop.
have 4 feet.
Yeah, but they gallop.
Hold on.
at, like 16 to 19 miles per hour. Stubby little legs, just a
Galloping
churning.
around.
Hold on.
Yeah.
How fast can humans run?
For a short period of time, up to 30.
Oh, is it okay?
But like
I know
that's
for like
short, yeah.
for like 100 meters or something.
No,
like
if are you wondering, can you get away from a badger? Probably not.
Well, no. I was just the raw numbers. I was just thinking. I was like, that seems like that would be faster than.
That's
but-
faster than I can pedal a bicycle.
I would be surprised if you can pedal a bicycle.
Yikes.
Well, her foot and her stomach.
foot is
and
like she's
just-
been complaining
She's
about.
falling apart.
It
Yeah.
was swollen.
Well, at her
before.
age,
It
I mean,
was
let's be
terrible.
fair.
That's fair.
About the
Okay.
badgers.
So badgers are nocturnal, and So I think we have them around here, but you never see them because they're nocturnal. So they play a lot.
Not to be confused with raccoons.
I don't think anyone was. I don't
guess-
think that needed to be said.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, it didn't need to be said. You're night.
Note to self, not to be concerned.
I'm just saying. I said I said night instead of right because
Yeah.
it's nocturnal.
Oh, I like it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
God, this is such
so
a train wreck.
The Badger's role as a character in fiction can be traced back to the folklore
Red
of Europe and Asia, where their nocturnal habits have given them an air of mystery. In Chinese and Japanese folklore, the Badger character is a shapeshifter. In European folklore, the Badger...
Shape-shifting badger.
Yeah, in European folklore, the Badger character is intimately associated with the bear and is considered a forecaster of the arrival of spring. Older versions of these stories ascribed similar
That's a much
powers
better
to the
Groundhog
bear, but as the bear populations dwindled, the folklore shifted to use the badger in Germany and England and the groundhog in the United States.
So that's why we have Groundhog Day instead of Badger Day.
Yeah, it should be Badger Day.
No.
Punk-ass groundhog stole it.
Punxsutawney Phil better watch his badgery
He
back.
put the
Hold on.
punk
Here's the
in Punxsutawney.
Hold on. Now it's been a while.
Yeah.
Since I've done this whole Groundhog Day thing. How does it work again? It's if he comes out.
If he sees his shadow,
he
6 more
runs
weeks
back
of winter.
inside, and you get 6 more weeks of winter. So if it's an overcast day.
Oh,
when it
okay.
comes
So
out-
okay. I was just trying to get this right. Yeah. Damn. Why don't we have? Well, for other people, me, I would prefer to have the groundhog, but everybody else would prefer, I assume, that the badger. 'Cause
Badger's
Badger
pretty
ain't gonna
scared of
get
his fucking shadow.
That's right. He's gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm staying out here no matter
Yeah.
what.
I'm gonna go get drunk on some rotten fruit.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Some what?
What?
Fruit?
Are you just fucking with us, or did
Yes.
that how you say
Oh, we can't
the
tell.
way
We
you
don't
say
know.
words, like when you're not in a British accent, you're saying words in Ohioese, and
Yeah,
it just
and
befuddles us.
we almost don't know what to make of it when it's not in an English accent, or
Yeah.
also known as your
regular
accent. Yeah.
All right, so I don't think this is going to take super long. We'll see, but I have the 14.
I'll derail it.
The 14 best badge representations
14?
of badgers in
Question:
literature.
How many did you do for donkey? Was it 10?
I think I did 10, but I did more for badger
That is unacceptable.
because badger is in a lot more shit. It's kind of
Well,
crazy how many
Bob,
badgers
this
there
isn't
are out there.
list all the badgers and shit. It's
I just
list
listed the cool ones from shit I know.
Well, Bob, it's like the argument when it comes to the NBA. Top 5 players in the NBA it's relevant for a reason because there's 5.
James,
Well,
LeBron
it's
James,
because no,
LeBron
because
James, LeBron James.
can't even make the playoffs. But the point is it's top 5 for a reason. It loses significance if you don't cut off 4 of those, Bob.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see how we
You
go.
can just give me 4 honorable mentions.
That's really what's one of these is definitely an honorable
Well, you
mention.
need to sell it
because
to me like that.
Oh no, don't worry, I will be. All right, so number one, for all you D&D fans out there, if you liked the Ravenloft setting, they had werebadgers. And one of the Dark
That sounds
Lords
horrifying.
was named Azrael Dak. But he ruled one of the dark regions of Ravenloft and was a werebadger. Yeah. It was really cool. Like, Ravenloft was really cool. They had a bunch of different wares that you don't normally get, like werebadger. They also did, like, different vampire. Like, if a human became a vampire, like, sunlight was bad. But, in a wooden stake. But if it was a dwarf, you had to use a, like, stalactite through the heart. And stuff like that. Like, the different
That's
races had different ways of to kill vampires.
1, that's racist.
Vampires.
2, first video game I ever played a lot of, other than Mega Race on my computer, was a Ravenloft game.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a first-person view action adventure thing.
Yeah.
But my brother would be the one playing, and I just kind of watch because he was older than me.
Right.
And one of the party members you get is a troll.
Huh.
And if you ever kick him out of your group, he says,
He spends the rest of the time fucking with you?
no, he just gets super sad and says something, and my brother would get him in the group and kick him out just because it would make me cry just to hear him be like, you don't want me anymore. And I was like, no, troll man, why?
All right. Here's a much better known What is she doing?
Bro, I'm fixing this thing in my shoulder. I'm rolling my. I have a
You
crick
can
in my
fix,
neck.
She
you can
falling
fix
apart,
your
y'all.
aches and moans on your own time. You're on the people's time.
You're on
I'm
Badger
unpaid.
time.
You're on
I'm
Badger time.
unpaid.
Badger time.
So, all right.
Don't stop. Badger time.
The Badger mascot of Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
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 Wait, hold on now. Hufflepuff's mascot's a badger?
It is,
Yeah.
which is like, man.
Doesn't that seem... Am I wrong about what Hufflepuff
Hufflepuff
characteristics
is
are?
Hufflepuff's characteristic is
They don't give a fuck.
you're everything that you. It's the catch-all. Hufflepuff is like, oh, you're not the super brave, super smart, or super shitty guy, so we're just gonna
Ambitious.
throw you in Hufflepuff.
Oh, it's okay.
Hufflepuff people are supposed to be like steadfast and loyal, and
That sounds too much like Gryffindor.
I don't think they.
because Harry Potter should never have been a Gryffindor, and all of the things that we think about Gryffindors as Harry Potter, he's just fuck Harry Potter.
Yeah, but what about...
He's supposed to be a Slytherin.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
But what about Hermione? She's supposed
Yeah.
to be a
She should have been a Ravenclaw.
She should have been a Ravenclaw. Right,
Ravenclaw. Well,
And
then...
she should have been a Ravenclaw.
Well, what are we doing here?
And
Then why
Ron
are
should
they...
have been a
Well,
Hufflepuff.
it's because Ron straight up should have been. So here's the thing, though: if the Sorting Hat just sorted you, it'd be one thing, but you can kind of put in a request.
That's right.
Yeah, because Harry puts it on. He's like, not Slytherin, not Slytherin, not Slytherin, not Slytherin, and that's why he.
And
ended up
he's like, all right, well,
Gryffindor.
your next best fit would be Hufflepuff, or would be
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
But everybody wants to be a Gryffindor, so.
But also
when you
there's,
think
like,
of Gryffindor, like the
Genetics,
characteristics are
like all of Ron's
Brothers.
like family were Gryffindor. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah,
legacy admissions.
Hufflepuff, yeah, Hufflepuff. Okay, so I'll come back to this one, but in a related note, so Miskatonic University, H.P. Lovecraft,
Yes.
the where they have like copies of the Necronomicon and all these books. Their mascot is the Badger.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
So is Wisconsin's. I don't mean shit.
Wisconsin has a tenacious defense, and I feel like that's what Badgers are.
Sorry.
Stout,
A tenacious D.
tenacious D.
Fits.
Oh,
They're not the best football team in the world. They're just a tribute.
yeah. Wow. That was pretty
fantastic.
good. That was pretty good. Okay, so this was one I did not know about, had never heard about, which was kind of weird.
I'm singing Tenacious D in my head. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here thinking, like, oh, sometimes they don't want to fuck you hard. They just want
You
to
wanna
fuck
fuck
you
you
gently.
gently.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
In my head,
don't
I'm...
want to fucking. Don't
And then
wanna
now we're
fucking-
back
No,
to
see, no, but see, in
beautiful
my head
animals.
were...
Beautiful Animal.
In
by
my head were Wonder
Rushmore
Boy.
Pod.
Oh yeah.
What's the secret
Yeah.
of your powers?
Okay.
I think that's telekinesis, Kyle.
Mind bullets. It's called telekinesis, Kyle.
Jesus. Off the rails.
Buckle up, kids. It's only gonna get worse.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes, it is.
So I didn't know about this, and this kind of surprised me because I was at one point I was really fascinated by Tom Bombadil from
I remember this.
Lord of the Rings. Like he was intensely interesting. I spent a lot of time looking
Didn't
into
he
him.
ride something to do with badgers? Or...
Well, so get this, I didn't know this, but there was in J.R.R. Tolkien's The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, which was a thing. You see, that wasn't in my encyclopedia. I had a Tolkien encyclopedia.
Yeah.
And it didn't mention
was that maybe one of those things that came out years after he had passed?
Well, it's a poem.
Oh,
it's what it is. It's
oh.
like a poem apparently, and in that there are badger folk that try to capture Tom Bombadil.
Oh, I was down until they started being bad.
Well,
The
maybe
badgers.
That's fair.
we don't need no stinking badgers. Speaking of stinky badgers, so there's a character named
skunks.
Brock Blueheart.
Pepe Le Pew.
I think skunks might actually be part of the same family tree as badgers. Like,
I mean, it makes
yeah.
sense.
All right, so
Well,
Brock.
badgers or skunks do make sense.
Bad
We're
sense.
on it.
God, puns flowing. So there's a character named Brock Blueheart, also known as Stinky. He's
Did try and do a
he's a-
shooting star press and WrestleMania and fall on his head, and how the fuck did he not die?
I think he did. But no, he was in Fables. You know, the comic series, graphic novels.
Man, I should
Yeah.
read that sometime.
I have started collecting them.
Did you start
have.
doing Unwritten?
Yes, I've started collecting those as
Because
well.
I lost
I've
my
got-
first trade and I want to read it.
I think I've got the first 4 of Unwritten, and I've got 6 or 7 of Fables, but they're not in order. Like, for those of you who don't know, if you have a Second of Charles around you, Second of Charles is great. It's like a second-hand thrift store.
It's a really good thrift store.
Yeah, it's an amazing thrift store. But like, they basically, all the stuff that doesn't sell at Books A Million, they ship it to Second and Charles. Like, it's like a sister company.
You get it at a reduced price, but most of them are in really good quality, and
Yeah.
I mean, they've got books and vinyl and board games. And
Just,
But
it's
a
just
lot of-
for
lot of comics,
It's for
too.
inventory that doesn't move, so
Yeah.
they send it there.
And it's at a reduced price. So I
you
rack
can
up
also
graphic
you can
novels.
take your books and trade them in. And that
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They also have a
Never
Dropbox.
take me there.
They also have a Dropbox outside that
Free
like
books.
with free books. Like, people, you can just go drop books off there, and if they're in that box, you can just walk off with them.
That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, Second and Charles is bomb.
Never let me go there, please.
Oh, well, there's Dothan and Birmingham are the closest ones.
Let me
to us.
do it. Don't.
Okay, so the Mother Badger from the Incident at Hawks Hill. I read this book growing up. I don't think y'all did.
No,
Good-
I've never
I
read
didn't
books.
read much growing up.
It's a story about like these prairie, like this family living out in the prairie, like old timey prairie family, and
Were they in a little house?
basically,
prairie?
yeah. But the kid, like this little boy, runs away. Like he gets lost.
He ran off Laura Ingalls out into the wild.
Yeah, but he gets like a badger mother finds him, and she just lost her baby badgers, and so this badger mom raises the kid for like a few months.
It sounds like a Bob story.
Yeah, it was great. And
love
like
it.
the badger mom raises the kid for a little while, and eventually they find the kid, and the badger kind of becomes a pet, and then it gets shot because that's how
Because that's
kid
how
books go.
all of those fucking books
Yeah.
end.
Yikes!
All right.
Oh, like Fox and the Hound.
Why? Like, what was wrong with Disney? Fox and the Hound? That's the saddest fucking book in the history or movie. Like, if John Steinbeck made a Disney movie, it'd be fucking The Fox and the Hound.
I was about to say, you say that, but you haven't read the rest of the Fit Chivalry books.
Oh.
Yikes!
Okay.
Badgers.
Back to the fun. So, did y'all ever see The Wind in the Willows, the Disney movie Wind in the Willows with Mr. Toad? He's driving the car and he like wrecks the car.
Like, I feel like that's one of those that I kind of like half watched, but didn't.
Oh yeah, it was like I remember watching it all the time growing up. Well, shocker, it was a book. But the book is about this. I think it's a mole and a water rat become friends with Mr. Toad. Toad is like this eccentric, rich frog, like mega wealthy. Who like he gets like intensely interested in something for like a week and then drops it. Well, he gets fascinated with
Can
cars.
relate.
He gets fascinated with cars. Like this is like when cars get invented, like they're new, and he ends up like stealing one and wrecking it and going to prison and breaks out by disguising himself as a washerwoman. And
Jeezy Pete.
while he's gone, a bunch of like weasels and shit break into his mansion and are living there. So when he comes back, they get their buddy Badger, Mr. Badger, who's kind of like he was friends with Toad's dad. He's like the smart guy, like he knows things. So him and
drinks
Water
and he
Rat
knows things?
and Mole and Toad, they bust up in there and just start cracking skulls and drive out all the weasels, and then they have like a celebratory feast. So yeah, it's a roller coaster, guys.
Yeah, you were like, he got sent to prison. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. No, he breaks
He
out
got
of
hard.
He
He's like,
breaks out of prison,
Got swole.
disguised as a washerwoman, gets on a tugboat kind of deal, disguised as washerwoman, so they hire him to wash the clothes. He does such a shit job that they like go to kick him off, so he steals their horse.
He's a terrible person.
Yeah, Toad is
What
not
the
great.
heck?
He finally shows some growth at the end, but yeah, he's not. He just starts out not a good person, or Toad. And yeah, no, but yeah, the book's a bit of a wild ride. The animated movie thing was pretty good from what I remember. So his eyes get all like big and bug-eyed. It's good.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Bug-eyed. He's a toad.
Yeah.
I was just thinking he's
Well,
just
you
a
know what?
tadpole of a bad guy.
Oh. You know what one frog said to the other, right? Time's fun when you're having flies.
That's fair.
Okay.
Wisdom, guys. Wisdom.
So, in the C.S. Lewis Chronicles of Narnia series, there's a talking badger named Trufflehunter.
That's a great name.
It is. He's a talking badger who cares for Caspian the 10th when he is injured and fleeing from Miraz. He remains loyal to Aslan throughout because badgers are loyal and will eat your face. The best combination: loyal but will eat your face. You know what more
Like
do you
Hilo.
want? What more do you want from a friend? Did y'all read Ranger Rick growing up?
Bruh, Hilo's a badger, okay? Let's be real.
He is. Did y'all read Ranger Rick growing up?
I barely
think so.
recognize the name.
Ranger Rick was a kids magazine about it's like National Geographic for kids, kinda.
No.
It was.
I
Great.
got the Smokey the Bear coloring sheets and the Dare Dog coloring sheets.
I got those.
No. This
the
is like a
ones-
magazine, like Zoo Books. Do you remember Zoo Books?
Yeah,
I
had
always
Zoo
wanted
Books.
them, but my folks were like, no.
Yeah.
I had Zoo Books. I'm pretty sure.
Well, Zoo Books
Highlights was another one.
All right, so it's like this was like halfway between Highlights and Zoo Book. Zoo Book, I think, was a fixed number. There's only like 12 of them or something.
Really?
I think. Like it
Good.
wasn't like
Okay.
one every month. Like you ordered a run of Zoo Books and that was it. I
Oh.
think. I could be wrong on that, but Ranger Rick was a monthly magazine about like teaching kids about nature and anyway, Ranger Rick had a buddy named Boomer Badger. So,
It's a decent name.
yeah.
Okay.
I loved those growing up. Here's an honorable mention that it's whatever because it's a Doctor Who book and fuck Doctor Who, all that fucking time travel. Anywho,
Same.
he has a book. There's a book called The Pirate Loop, in which Dashiell, Jocelyn, and Archibald are 3 badger space pirates.
Ooh.
It's the closest I've ever come to reading a Doctor Who book was when I found out that they were badger space pirates.
I was-
Because I
That's
love
actually kind of-
badgers,
All of those
space,
things.
and pirates. But they're bad guys, apparently. So that's why I didn't. Like, badger space
If they
pirates.
were swashbuckling space pirates instead of kill you space pirates.
Yeah. So that was... Did y'all ever read the Beatrix Potter books growing up?
I think so.
No.
You know, they were the
The
Peter Rabbit books.
Yeah, I was in a play. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was in a play in like 2nd grade where I was about.
I always wondered how much the other people read those because my family, weirdly, for as much as you speak in a British accent, my family growing up, I had a lot of ties to Britain, like in like literature. Like
Yeah.
I didn't read the Hardy Boys so much. I read the Famous Five series
Yeah.
and like Beatrix Potter. I read all
Yeah,
those.
I read a
growing
whole lot of.
up.
I was in that play.
So there's a book
Peter
called.
Rabbit. From Mr. McGregor's
The
Garden.
Tale of Mr. Todd features a character named Tommy Brock. Brock is a English word for badger. It's kind of like fallen out of fashion, but I think it means like gray. It's like it comes from the old English word for gray. Comes out
Okay.
like Brock. It sounds like Brock, so they call him Brock because badgers are gray. Anyway, well, so it's about Tommy Brock and his arch enemy, Mr. Todd, a fox. Brock kidnaps the children of Benjamin Bunny and his wife Flopsy, intending to eat them, and hides them in an oven in the home of Mr. Todd. Benjamin and his cousin Peter Rabbit have followed Tommy Brock in an attempt to rescue the babies. Basically, they didn't want to publish this book because Beatrix Potter had written all these like kind of morality tales kind of deal.
Yes.
And then she just wanted to write a book about like 2 shitty people like fighting, like. So Tommy
Yeah.
Brock and Mr. Todd are just like they have no redeeming qualities. Like they're trying to eat baby bunnies, you know, and
Yeah.
like they. And I just read a fun little bit, like a letter she wrote to her publisher that was like basically like, get the fuck over it.
She was like, fuck off. I just wanted to write this.
Yeah.
2 for you.
Here's
1
your moral,
for me.
children. Sometimes
Yeah.
people are just shits.
Yeah, some people
Yeah.
suck.
That's the moral we really needed as children.
The moral is be strapped.
Don't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah,
be strapped or get clapped.
All right. Quick little message. In the Baz Lag novels by China Melville, Purdue Street Station, which I have read. I haven't read any others. It's weird shit. It's new weird fantasy. But they have badger messengers, including one named Sincerity,
So like messenger pigeons, homing pigeons, but badgers.
basically.
I feel like I would rather give a message to a badger than a pigeon.
Oh, all
because a
day.
badger would protect my fucking message.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, last 2. One, we're a podcast talking about badgers. We have to mention Chunt.
I know.
He's the king of the badgers.
Chunt. The 60s.
What?
Hello from the Magic Tavern. It's another podcast,
Are
and
huge.
one of the main characters is Chunt, a shape-shifting badger.
Well, he's a shapeshifter.
The last thing he has sex with is his current form, and he just prefers to be a badger.
Yeah.
And then now he ended up being the king of the badgers.
Yeah, they voted him king. Quick spoilers. They voted him king because they thought he was dying.
But his curse got lifted now.
But his curse got lifted. He's not dying. So now the badgers are actively trying to kill him because they don't want him to be king anymore.
But yeah, he's Chunt.
Chunt,
With
king
6
of the badgers. Yeah, on Twitter, he's Chunt with 6 T's.
Yeah.
Because the other Chunts were taken.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's one of those podcasts. They have like 300 plus episodes, I think, at this point.
It's probably, I think
short,
it's like pushing 200. Because it's like 100 per season. They're not done with season 2 yet.
Well,
They're almost done though.
It's
like,
a lot, but
yeah.
they're fun.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
a fun-
improv comedy in a fantasy.
Remind me to show you something.
Yeah, it's fun.
So-
It's one of my favorites.
All right, last one. My favorite badger representation of them all is Redwall.
Yeah, I was
Saw that
waiting
coming.
for a Redwall on here.
Yeah, like pretty much every Redwall book has a badger, and they typically take one of 2 forms. There are badgers at Salamandastron, which is this like dead volcano that is filled with rabbits or hares and a badger lord. So it's like this. They're like a military force that kind of tries to keep order. So it's like British military rabbits led by a badger. And badgers are like the biggest badasses in the Redwall world.
Well,
Pretty
it's
much.
because they're the biggest badasses.
Pretty much. But then the other form that
'cause
they
they don't give a
take
fuck.
is a lot of times they have a like badger living at Redwall Abbey. It tends to be like an older female badger, and she's like the Abbey mom kind of deal. So
really it covers both bases.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
but
2 character types
don't,
I like.
Don't get it twisted though. She just because she's the mom of Redwall,
Well,
oh she'll eat your face.
Bob, she's a mom.
Exactly.
Have you?
a badger mom? So yeah, that is the 14 best representations of badgers out of probably like 100. Like there were so many. Like if you just go to Wikipedia and look up like representations of badgers and just look up badger and go down, you can find like list of badgers in fiction. Like just in books, there's probably like 100 different mentions. I didn't touch on movies or other stuff. Like badgers are super popular, but I was reading they are becoming less popular.
Yeah, you haven't written your series
know.
about badger clan warfare.
I know. I need. God, what? I'm fucking up.
I'm serious about this, Bob. I feel like as much as you like the Zane of like books, you don't write Zane.
I don't. I need to.
Whatever happened to Reginald?
For those who don't know, I started writing a silly little series. I literally got it out and kind of like knocked the dust off that about 6 months ago. But is the Reginald the Dark Lord that he? I envisioned this very bureaucratic system of evil to where like he's only allowed 6 minions by law, and so like he gathers up some goblins. And one of the goblins is like super smart, and so this goblin is like manipulating him the whole time to keep himself alive.
Smart.
But like
It's great.
they attack a farm, and the farm like is about to just wreck their face. But so he like turns a pig into a demon pig, and so then the pig kind of scares the farmers off, and they all kind of traipse away. But he's sitting there trying to like flip through the bylaws to figure out if he can count the demon pig as a mount instead of a minion, so it won't count against his totals. And then like they'd stolen a bunch of pigs from the farm with it. It's like they're cooking one of the pigs, and the demon pig just like walks over, stands in the fire, and is eating the other pig on the spit. He's like, minion. That's a minion. Yeah. So one day I will do something with that.
You will
It was
redeem.
Oh, that redemption rye. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything y'all wanted to add. I know this was kind of my show, but if in the future if y'all want to do your own takeover episode,
Well, this is fine because it's around your birthday time, so you get to indulge you.
Yeah.
Last year we did the Books, Beards, Booze, Bob's birthday bonus broadcast
Bonanza.
thing.
Yeah.
So this year we're doing
Badgers.
Books, Beards, Badger.
What did we do last time?
Burrows.
No, I mean for your birthday.
Where we did shots.
Yeah,
Was that the
interviewed-
first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time
interviewed
she's
two of
ever on the
you.
podcast.
Oh, if you, that episode's not going to be on your podcast
It's only on
streaming.
YouTube.
It's on YouTube, so
Yeah.
it's really fun.
Season
It's about a
1,
year ago,
YouTube.
Season 1.
By the
Yeah.
way, I got super salty about that yesterday because I went looking for the King of the Wild episode.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube.
It made me so mad.
Yeah, yeah, but
We've
the
got a
quality
lot of
wasn't
good
there.
stuff on our YouTube. Our YouTube
Yeah.
is Tales by Bob. You can find him on Twitter on Tales by Bob, Facebook Tales by Bob. I am on Twitter
Instagram,
at
Tales by Bob.
BBB pod_Tanya.
I'm on Twitter at DWilson334.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's Derek Worthington. Many words.
Derek,
many words. Worthington the fourth or something like that.
something like that. Well, you
I
gave me
did,
that.
yeah.
It was fucking hilarious, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, we're going with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can look up our other
Yeah.
history.
All right. So in the coming week, as you crawl into the badger den of your week,
Be real careful.
because this is may the badgers be friendly and cuddly, and
Protect you with their lives.
and protect you with their warm, fuzzy embrace, and may the blessing of the badger be upon you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Books, Beards, Booze. Our co-hosts are Bob, Derek, and Tanya. Our producer is Bob. For more information, visit our website, booksbeardsbooze.com. Follow our social media at Tales by Bob. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, and share. Okay, bye.